Hello guys, and welcome to Paint with Mark. Today we're going to paint a picture called Tranquil Dawn, and I will run all the colours underneath the screen and for you so you know what colours to use, and I will be running through all the brushes that we're going to be using this one. So I've got a 16 by 20 pre-stretched canvas, and I've applied a very thin coating of liquid white. And if you want to know how to do that, if you click up there, you'll see one of my videos. I've done a complete video on how to apply the correct amount of liquid white. So the first thing we're going to do a nice sort of nice glow up here in the top. So sorry about my head moving into the screen and my video, but I'll try and do my best not to get too much in there. So I'm going to get a 2-inch landscape brush, and I'm going to go into some yellow ochre. So I've got yellow ochre here, and I'm just going to pull down a small amount of yellow ochre, just a very small amount, and tap. So I'm just sort of tapping in there, so literally just pulling some down and just tapping into the bristles some colour. And again, a small amount. I really want just a small amount of colour. It's on the bristles there, hopefully you can see that. Yeah, a very small amount of colour, hardly anything on there at all. I'm just going to tap just to get an even coating on there. So I'll put it down a good coat. And then I'm going to come up here, somewhere up here, so it's slightly off centre. And literally I'm just going to do this with it, do like a circular movement, like so, just sort of doing like a circular glow. That's all I'm looking for. And literally I'm just doing this in a circular movement. You can see there's hardly any paint on there, and as I'm putting the paint on, I'm just going to do some crisscross strokes, just getting it to blend in at the same time, because I just want this very light, because I'm going to add some white in the middle of that, so it's sort of like a pastel-y colour. So now you can always add more colour onto it, so I'm going to add a little bit more colour on there just to make it a little bit brighter so you can see it on the screen there. So go into some more colour. So it's always best to start with less paint, because you can always add more. I'll come in here, come around there. So again, put my little circle in, and then literally I'm just pushing this round like so, a circular movement. And then once I've got that, you can wipe your brush, a little bit of tissue paper, wiggle it around in there, squeeze that just to get the excess off, and then I'm going to do little crisscross strokes here just to remove all the harsh edges. So I'm just removing the harsh edges, and very lightly I'll go over that centre part there. That's all I need to do. So I've got some nice colour on there. You can see that, hopefully. Nice bit of colour in there. So using the same colour, I'm going to get some dark sienna. So it looks, this is Van Dyke Brown, but this is dark sienna. Sort of a light sort of chocolate colour. So I'm going to go into the same colour and then pull down some dark sienna, give it a tap. So I'm mixing the two together, so hopefully you can see there. So I've got my ochre, yellow ochre, and then I've gone into dark sienna, then going back into yellow ochre. I just want it sort of a slightly darker version of what we've got up there. And then I'm going to go around the outside edge. So I'm going to come around to the outside edge here, at the top, this edge here, so. So I've just sort of surrounded the paint that I've already done there, just around the outside edge. And again, then I'm going to just wipe that into a bit of tissue paper again, just removing the excess paint. I don't want any excess paint on there. It just makes your life easier when we're trying to blend. Okay, now I'm going to start from this outside edge, very lightly, do it like a circular motion. I'm pushing quite hard, and as you can see, it's just blending in there. You can see that, hopefully you can see that on, it's picking up on the video. It's blending. So I'm going to do all the edges first, go around the outside edge, and then I'm just going to gradually work in very lightly. Just remove these harsh spots, like so. Trying to keep this sort of circular shape to it, like so. Outside. So I'm just trying to move all the harsh lines in there, basically. So go around the outside here, around this edge, and then I'm just working outwards from the middle here. Just going to keep pressing down the outside edge there. Same with this one. So now we've got this colour here, and I'll do a little bit more blending in a minute now, but I'm going to add a little bit more colour. So blending on the brush, I'm just going to, using that same colour, okay, so we've got ochre, dark sienna, just going to bring it down, and I'm going to add a touch of blue, a little touch of blue into that, and a touch of alizarin crimson, which is going to make a sort of a purpley grey colour. Okay, so I'm going to add that. I'm going to come into the light mix over this side. So I mixed it in here, then I've come across here, so obviously this is going to be slightly lighter. So I'm just going to get a band of that first and take that around the outside edge here and here, down there, and the edge. Okay, so it's a nice dark patch here, and then I'm going to do the same on this side. On this side here. So I've got a sort of darky purpley colour appearing down there, and then I'm going to come into this part where I first mixed it up, so it's slightly darker. Keep mixing it one way or the other way, so I'm sort of mixing on the palette. So this is going to be slightly darker. I'm going to take the slightly darker part and come around the outside edge here and pull it in. Just put it right down here, right down, something like so. Same this side. Bear with me. Just reset this. Okay, and I'm just going to come down this side here, like so. Again, still holding it on the side of the on the edge of the brush, like so. I'm just sort of blending just backwards and forwards, just to make this nice and soft around the sides there. Hopefully you can see that and it's all working well for you. So I'm going to come this side, very lightly, very soft strokes, and this is just blending this in. And at that stage I'm just going to wipe my brush again into a little bit of tissue paper, and I'm basically just wiggling this around, just remove most of the excess paint really, that's all I'm after. Then I'm going to come back in from the outside edge, again following the shape, like so, and I'm just working from the outside edge inwards, coming in there. I'm trying to lose this harsh line here. Around very softly, backwards and forwards, just so this is nicely blending in, so you get a nice transition. I know most of this is going to be covered up with trees and so on, but it's nice to have this transition like so. Yep, I'm happy with that. And then down here, I'm not worried with what's going on here. Just lightly backwards and forwards, very light, crisscross strokes down the bottom here. Okay, so this side, light crisscross strokes, just get a little bit of colour down there. That's it, it's lovely. So I like that. So now we're going to clean the 2-inch brush. I've got some odourless thinners. I'll pop it in there over my little gauze I've got here to remove the paint excess. Move it backwards and forwards, and I have got a little beta rack here. I've got a little beta rack, a bit like Bob uses. I'm just going to go backwards and forwards with this, and this is just removing the excess paint. Obviously, if this is down inside a waste bin, it's going to be a lot better for you to do and easier for you, but I just sort of demonstrate what I'm doing, so show you that I'm removing most of this excess thinners. Okay, and then always after I've done that, I'll go into some more tissue, move that around and squeeze it, and also sometimes I use a old towel or some cloth, just to make sure I remove most of this thinner, because thinner is not always your friend, and if you leave too much residue of thinner in your brush, you find you will get problems with your painting. So let's get rid of most of this. I've used the same brush, and what we're going to do now, we're going to add this a nice bright spot in there. So I'm going to go into some titanium white. So I'm just going to pull down some titanium white, pull it one side the other way, give it a tap. So hopefully you can see nice even across there. That's it. And then I'm going to go into the lightest spot here, and basically I'm going to do crisscross strokes. Okay, so I'm working from the middle and I'm working outwards, so actually working out from the centre. I just want a nice bright spot in the middle there, so crisscross stroke in the middle, and then basically I'm doing crisscross strokes, working out. Okay, and then I'm going to come around the outside edge here and do our circular movement that we've done again. So we've got a nice bright area in there, and hopefully you can see that. So basically it was just crisscross strokes, and then I started coming out around the edges here, and then I just start brushing in the shape of the circle, come round. Like I said, I'm just going to come round to the outside edges here. It doesn't matter because all this is going to be covered up with trees. Across. That's it. So hopefully you've all got to this stage. So we've got our light area in here, and gradually we've got these rings of colour with a little bit of white left on there. Okay, so let's mix up another colour to start doing our trees. So what I'm going to do is just get my knife and get some alizarin crimson, put it on here, some phthalo blue. Now much more alizarin crimson, because obviously the blue is a lot stronger, so I'm going to make sure that I get much more alizarin crimson, a little bit of blue, going to make sort of purpley colour and scrape it up. Also going to add this colour we've been using in there. Okay, so going to use some dark sienna, put some dark sienna in there. Mix that around. A bit more dark sienna. Squash this down. Really mix it up thoroughly. I'll squash it right down like this. So, okay. Wipe my knife. Get the knife off. Okay, so I'm not going to clean my brush. I'm going to use the colour beat that we're having before. Now, when we do this, what we're going to do is we want to leave this nice light area, and we're going to start up the top here and just tap across here, backwards and forwards, coming all the way down to just underneath our lightest circle around this area here. So that's what we're trying to aim for. Now, when we're using this brush, okay, we're going to hold the handle lower than the bristles, and we're going to tap, and we're going to hold it slightly at that angle. Okay, so these bristles are higher in here and slightly like that, and we're just going to tap using this part of the brush. So I'm just going to come in here, I'm going to pull this down this way, I'm going to turn it over a couple of times, and then I'm going to tap. So a lot of colour, so I've got colour there, you can see that, but I'm literally just I'm tapping. So I'm going to keep tapping a lot of times, keep tapping, and what will happen is it will make this a lot lighter, because I don't want too much paint on my brush. Okay, so I don't want too much paint on the brush. I'm going to start up here, and again this is slightly lower, and literally I'm just going to very lightly just tap. So I'm just going to hold my easel, so I'm just tapping down here like so, and as you tap, as I said, slightly angle it across like so, and it will make some lovely shapes. Okay, now I'm taking it slightly into this area here, okay, because I want this to get the contrast. Okay, so into my, see it, so literally just backwards and forwards. Think about shape again, and we don't want to lose all our colour. Okay, so we're coming down here, so I'm just sort of tapping. Again, I'm holding it slightly at an angle, keep tapping down. So down here, across. Probably a bit noisy. You're probably picking up a bit of noise from the tapping of the actual easel, I'm afraid, but bear with me. So I'm just getting some colour on there, so you can see. So basically now we've got one tree coming down here, so I'm going to go in and put some more in there. So I'm going to go into the same colour. Literally I'm just putting this down one way then the other way, and then literally I'm just tapping, pressing up. So I'm slightly pressing these bristles up like so. Okay, I'll come up here, do another one. Literally it's a bit noisy on this easel, I'm afraid, but we need to tap quite hard. Okay, so tap quite hard. I'm putting more paint on. Okay, so it's slightly darker than this, if that makes sense. So I'm going over the top of this one. So it looks like we've got layers. So on. Okay. So when I do the other side, I'll angle the brush this way, so like so. Okay, now again, this last one I want to make even darker. Now I've purposely left little bits of light in here. Can you see the light in there? So I've come out like so, but I'm leaving little bits of light in there because it obviously makes the picture nice. So with this one, I'm just going to slightly add a little bit more blue in here. Bring this down. Give this a tap. So I'm bringing a lot of paint down and I'm pushing up, bending the bristles and pushing up. Okay, and then I'm going to do another one here. Same thing. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just doing this one slightly over the top of this, so you can see what I'm going. Now, as you all know, that you need dark to show light. So basically we need this dark because then we're going to highlight, obviously, with some lighter colours, which is going to make it stand out nicely. So So obviously you can see we've got hopefully these 3 trees at the edge here coming across this foliage, and so we're going to need one this side. So same thing, but this time I'm going to start on this side of the brush. I'll be tapping the angle of the brush this way, so I'm just going to tap slightly down and then working up. Sorry about the noise of this easel. I've usually got the big easel going, but I just thought this would be a nice little desktop one. I'm going to join those together there. I'm just going to add a little bit more. And again, I'm slightly angling the brush and literally I'm just tapping, angling it slightly this side and bring it up to about there, something like that. Nice bit of foliage. Hopefully you can see that, nice little bit of foliage there. Nice. Okay. Right, so what I'm going to do now, I was just going to add a little bit of Van Dyke brown. So I'm going to put a little bit of Van Dyke brown. I'm going to add that to this mix. Add this to the mix, put it one way, put it the other way. Tap up. I'm going to create a few more bushes to create a few more layers. So here, come down from this side here. Hopefully you can see that this is slightly darker. Yep. And I'm just adding a little bit of Van Dyke brown. So I've got a bit of Van Dyke brown, add this to the colour, one side to side, give it a tap but press it upwards. That one here. So just sort of bushy type shapes, this sort of thing, and again we're going to add some colours on top. And I'm going to add some more here. And literally I'm just tapping down, creating bushy type shapes, some foliage. Here, another one. Put some more of that Van Dyke brown into it. Give it a tap. Just some nice shapes. Bushy shapes, that's all we're looking for. Bushy shapes. Lovely. Like a lot of this is going to be covered over with trees, but get this beautiful contrast now, which I'm looking for. Okay, so we've got the foliage in, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a liner brush, script liner brush, and some thinners. I'm going to go into my thinners and just going to use the lighter mix that we had going, which was this one at the beginning. So I'm just going to go into there, spin it around, add some thinners, so it's like ink consistency, and spin this around. Actually spin it around as you're using it, spin this around like so. Okay, spin it around. Then I'm going to come up to here, this one here, and I'm just going to hold it at the end, so I haven't got a lot of control. I'm just going to wiggle this around, take it up, and start adding a few limbs to this tree. So now, if hopefully you can see that on the video, if the paint is not running and you're not making a slight mark on there, it's probably because the paint is too thick, and so you just need to add a bit more thinners for it to work properly. Hopefully you can see this, guys. I don't know how well it's picking up on the video, but again, it's very in the background, but hopefully you can see. And then just with my finger, I'm just going to smear this down a little bit there. I just want it to fade in a bit. So, and then I come over to these ones, same colour. So, and I'm not going to do all the way from the bottom to the top because you might not see all of it. So I'm going to probably start from about halfway. Just going to bring a few lines coming up here. And again, a lot of this is going to be covered up with our foliage. What's here? So basically what I'm doing here is, where I've got these bits that are sticking out, obviously would be the place to put in some of these lines. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just coming along. There's a very thin lines now. Obviously don't push too hard, otherwise you're going to end up with big fat lines. So we're looking for thin lines to make this work, because they're just part of the tree. So I'll come to there. I may add a little bit down here, some few little pieces and sticks coming up. Nice little bits and pieces of foliage and sticks. Remember, when you do these, you want to do like Y's and U's at the ends. It makes it look more realistic when you're doing this. So I'm just going to add a few little bits and pieces coming out of here, just to add a few more touches. And then again, I'm going to add a couple in this one coming up here. This is a little bit darker. It's picking up this colour, it's picking up this dark, so which is fine, because you're only going to see a few of these bits anyway. I just want to see a few of these lines coming up. But when you're close to the picture, it will add a lot more to it. It's good. A bit more there. And a little bits and pieces coming up here. Again, all these little bits of twigs and sticks add to the depth of the picture. And then we've got this one here. Again, I'm going to start about halfway up. Just wiggle this around and just come off at the angles. Now, where you wiggle it and move it will be a good place to start the next bit, or the actual branch. So like here, the angle twist, so I'm going to come out and do a bit there. And then I'm going to miss that because this bit goes over the top, so I'm going to add a couple of little bits here. So on. Now, a lot of people struggle with these parts of the trees, the small thin parts. It's usually because they're just pushing too hard, you know, you're pushing too hard with the actual brush. So again, make sure it's nice and thin, and if you hold it back on here, you've got less control, and you just let it flow. Okay, just flow. It's a lot of people just get too, you know, they hold it too rigid and too tight, and then you just won't get the effect you're looking for. So just hold this very light. Get lots of these little bits of foliage and so on. Small little bits of foliage. Just add to your picture. Just add in a couple more bits and pieces on. So on. Bits of twigs and so on. Okay, I think that would do. Yep, that'll do nicely. Not too many, but you want enough in there. So when you're having a look at the overall composition, you can see there's twigs and you've got these branches in the middle of the trees. Okay, so we'll clean that off. And what we're going to do now, we're going to go into some colours. So you can either use the 2-inch brush. I think what we do, we use this nice little round 1-inch brush. This one here, which is the 1-inch oval brush. If you haven't got oval brush, you can use a 1-inch brush or you can use a 2-inch brush. All right, it makes no difference. I'll do a bit of each, you can see, but this gives some really nice effects. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to go into same sort of colours as before, but we're going to get this yellow ochre. The yellow ochre, put it one way the other way. Indian yellow, I'm going to pull that across into it, and cad yellow. Okay, so I've got all these 3 colours here, all mixed together, so got those nice 3 there. And I'm going to, a little bit of alizarin crimson, I'm going to put that in there as well. A little bit more. Nice. So I'm going to put this bottom way the other way, and I'm going to tap. I'm going to tap this and press upwards. Okay, so press upwards. And very lightly, I'm just going to come across here, very lightly. Now, just basically I'm following the angle of the background. So I'm sort of tapping around here like so. I'm going to come back and tap onto this part, then back over here. This brush, it creates some beautiful automatic highlights. Okay, so I'll go back into my colour again. So I'm varying between the 3, so sometimes I tap more onto this one, or this one, or this one. Okay, and then very light tap, very light tapping. Okay, you get this lovely, beautiful foliage effect, like so. Okay, we just want this soft, okay, just soft colour. That's all we're looking for. So I'm going to have a nice little bit of yellow on there, bring that down, give it a tap. So I've got a little bit of foliage here. Just different flavours, as I call it, different flavours. So I've got some nice yellows there. Okay, bring this down, come into Indian yellow, just tap this one. Tap a little bit of that down there. Oh, look at that. It's beautiful, that is. Look at the colour. So I'm going to add a little bit of that up here. Just a little bit on top. Look at that. It brings it out just a little bit more. So I like that. So now we're going to come across to this one. Now, these are slightly darker. So what I tend to do is, the last one, I'll add a little bit of white to it, so that will make that stand out more. But in this one we're okay, because we can mix between the colours again. So I'm going to add a little bit more of the alizarin crimson and bring this up. Make it like a firecracker. And I'm going to add some of that up here into this one. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's lovely colour. Beautiful colour. So a little bit of that. I go into some Indian yellow, yellow ochre. Just tap push and tap. So I've got a little bit of dark, I've had some a little bit of lighter colour. So I'm thinking about form like clusters, little balls of cluster of colour. Tapping down you, and literally you just tap very lightly with this brush, and it gives you some beautiful shapes, foliage shapes, and literally you just hardly do anything with it. I like that, that's nice. So this time when I come to this one, I'm just going to add a little bit more white, a little bit of white into it. So I'm going to get the titanium white, going to come into these colours, literally just pull it down, bit of white, add that to it, and just tap and push. Okay, very lightly. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That really does stand out. I'm hoping that you can see that on the video. That's really, it's like standing out. Now don't kill all the darks. Hopefully you can see the colours, and I've got darks because the dark gives us the depth that we're looking for. The depth, you know, because this is deep in here. So look at that. Oh, I like that. Look at that. Oh, let's add a few little light bits down there, spots. Look at that. The light's just catching this bit across here. Can you see that, guys? Hopefully you can see these few little bits, spots down there. Lovely. I like that. I do like that. Okay, now it's all about contrast, darks against lights. So this colour I've got here, so I'm going to add a little bit of the same colour just along this bit here, because that will make this bit stand out. So I did that by a little bit of white, a little bit of this yellow colour. Just press that up very lightly. I'm just going to, hopefully you can see that. Again, this is distant foliage. Okay, very, not distant foliage, yeah. It's a long way away, so there's not too much detail. So your eye just looks at this and just looks at the colours and thinks, yeah, this is a mass of woodland, nice colours in there. So I'm going to continue down here with a mixture of the colours. Let's see if we can get a nice, some of this red in there. But I'm going to add a little bit of white to it, so it's a little bit lighter. Press up. I'm going to get a few of these down here. Oh, look at that. Some beautiful colours there. Lovely colours. Foliage. Look at that. Some beautiful, hopefully you can see that, guys. I might be able to do a close-up in a little while, but I like that. So basically this side's sort of done now. So we're going to come over to this one. So this one here is going to be catching a bit of light. So again, I'm going to go into some white first. Pull it one way, pull it the other way. Give it a tap. I'm going to go to a bit of this yellow. Bit of Indian yellow. Give it a tap. Nice ridge. And then very lightly, just following the shape of this tree. So here. So I'm going to angle the brush this way. A little bit there. Hopefully, angle the brush this way. Hopefully you can see that, guys. Then I'm going to change the colour just slightly. Add a bit more, perhaps this Indian yellow. Take this down. Now leave the darks, as I said, leave the darks. So I'm just going to tap a bit of this around. I had a few of those up there as well. So you haven't got like sort of yellow, orange. You want to add some of the same colours up in here as well. Just a couple, just a few little of them. And then again, I'm going to add some yellow bits down here. So I'm going between the colours. I'm just sort of going from one colour to another colour. Back into a bit of white on this side, because I want this one to be slightly brighter than all these ones, if that makes sense to you. So hopefully it does. Oh, look at that. Lovely. So this is really bright here now. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get a little bit of that and just add a couple of those up there as well, just so it blends in. So the light's caught it there, the light's caught right across here. That's lovely. So I'm going to go back into I'll have some, let's go with the yellow ochre colour now. Again, I've added a little bit of white to this, as I said, because I want this tree to stand out more than this side. And I've decided that the light's shining across here. So, as I come down, I'm just not loading the brush and just literally just tapping, and it's just taking a little bit of colour off. So obviously this is becoming darker as I come down there. So I hope that makes sense. Add a little bit in there. I've literally just, it's just taken the colour from the brush now. So I'm going to add some of these ones. I want these a bit brighter so they stand out. So I'm going to come into a bit of white. Once on the other side, give it a tap. Grab some of this yellow and Indian yellow. Press it up to get a nice ridge. Okay, so I've got to do these bits here now. So I'm literally just going to very lightly tap on here. Hopefully you can see that, guys. But I'm not killing all the dark. I'm leaving some dark in there. Hopefully it shows up on the video. Right, so I'm going to get a little bit of this alizarin crimson, put that up there, a little bit of white, give it a tap, and then we're going to add some of these nice sort of red colours there. Now hopefully, guys, I had a couple more bits there, and then we'll take a step back and see how we're going. Give it a tap, press this up, get a little ridge, and then add just a couple here. Very slowly so you can see, and just literally I'm just touching. Alright, guys, so hopefully now you can see that we've got our trees and we've got this foliage is in front of these trees, and we've created depth. Same here, we've got our trees a little bit lighter than this side, because I'm saying that the light's more across here, and then we've got these bushes here and here that is in front of these, so it makes the whole thing sort of set back a bit more. I'm just going to put a little bit of colour in there. That's it. It's better. Let's create that dark. Now I haven't killed all the dark off. See all this, the dark in between. You need to keep the dark in between. And what I do sometimes, guys, is I will get my knife, and on the knife we just wipe that a little bit. It's got a little point on the knife, and what I do, just in a few places here and there, I will just scrape a few of these down, a few little straight lines coming from the middle of them. You don't do too many, just a few, and it just adds, looks like you've gone and spent hours with a fine brush putting in these little tiny lines, but it just adds a little bit more detail to your pictures. And if you're into selling some of these, you're going to get a lot more money just by adding these few little details in there, because people will come up, look at them and think you've spent hours and hours and hours with tiny brushes putting this foliage in. So it just looks like more sticks and bits and pieces, so that's great. Right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to clean up this area here with my white. I'm just getting that out of the way. I'm just going to put that somewhat of a palette out there. Just want to make sure that this is white. I'll clean some of this off as well, out my way. So when you've got your palettes, you just get a baby wet wipe and you can remove all that excess paint. So the baby wet wipes are very good for removing excess paint. And then I like using these kitchen paper towel, and I just clean the rest of the excess off of the kitchen towel, like so. Okay. Brilliant. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this brush again into my pot of odourless thinners, which is here. So I've dipped it in my pot, hopefully you can see that, and then rub it over the top of this gauze to remove the colour. So obviously we was using some browns and so on, so I'm just trying to remove that, get rid of most of the thinners out of the bucket, and then I'm going to use my lovely beta rack, like so. Again, put this in a basket, guys, otherwise this will be flicking all on your floor, but I'm lucky I've got my own studio here, so I'm just literally just doing this to remove the excess thinner, because I don't want all that thinner left in the brush, and we're going to go for some light colour. We need to remove that, so that'll do. Get some more kitchen paper. Okay, so kitchen paper. And I'll spin this around, just trying to remove, as I said, as much of this excess as I can. Out of here. Lovely. Okay, so hopefully you're all keeping up. You've got to this stage now. So in this picture we're going to add some snow. Now adding snow to there is very, very easy, and it doesn't matter if we pick up some of this colour. So we're going to add some snow, we're going to come across this way, and then we're going to come across this way, adding the snow. So we're just going to go into titanium white and pull straight down. Okay, so I've got a lot of paint on the brush, hopefully you can see there. Okay, so titanium white straight down, and I'm going to pull it across this way. So I'll do this in two sort of pieces. So I'm going to come across here, okay, across again, across again, like so. So first part is here, which will be the brightest part, because this is where the light source is, so it's bright. I've just pulled across here, okay, and then here, I'm just going to pull this down like so, and I'm just literally just pulling everything across. So you've got to think, you know, the lay of the land. Now if you get this shadow in there, it adds to it. It actually adds, like the shadows actually add to the picture, so you're not actually doing too much, which is great. So I'm going to come back into here, pull this white down. Now here I'm going to pull across here. So I'm adding different planes, so you can see now this is going this way and we've got this going this way. Alright, so I'm just going to flick this across here. If you get any bits, just pick them out. So literally I'm just backwards and forwards across here. Okay. So a little bit up there, I'll do for the moment. Lovely. Okay, we can add some more snow in a minute, but you can see the snow and the reflection in the snow, and we'll add some more when we start putting a few more trees and bits in. I'll add a bit more snow into the picture. So what we'll do now is I think we're going to add some trees on this side. Okay, so now we're going to mix up some colour. I'm going to put some trees in here, and we're going to use a knife same colours before we're going to use really, which is phthalo blue, alizarin crimson, more alizarin crimson. Mix all that together to make a nice sort of purplier colour. So more the alizarin crimson. Okay, we're going to add dark sienna in there, and we're going to add Van Dyke brown. So all these lovely colours. Mix this around. So all lovely dark colours. Push this down. Really mix it up. Lovely colour. Nice dark. Nice dark colour. So I clean my knife. Okay. What I'm going to do is get our fan brush here. Bravery test. So I'm going to go in one colour, which is the colour we just mixed up. Go one side, the other side. I like to give it a tap as well. And what we're going to do, we're literally going to tap, right? So we're going to have roughly, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, we'll put about 4 down. So I'm going to come down here. So let's see, so you can start by just doing a straight line like this, okay? But what we want to do is with these, we want to tap. So you're actually going to tap. So I'll put one in. So literally just very lightly, just tap, right? Because what that does, it gives it like a furry type barky effect, which is what we're looking for. So there's one there. Okay. Do another one bit down here. So and don't make them all straight. Okay. So again, I've done this one a little bit fatter, but slightly sloping it round because we don't want them all the same shape, right? Because we don't want every one of them to look like telegraph poles. Okay, so that one here, we'll do this one a bit taller. Here. Now each time I'm bringing it slightly down lower, okay, than these ones. I hope you can see that. So it's creating an illusion that these are actually getting closer by lowering this down, making this a little bit lower. Okay, so I'll do another one here, a bit smaller one. Just down here, I'll do another one as well. Like so, something like that. Just create interest, right? So you can see, hopefully you can see on this, is creating this furry sort of effect. Okay, so I'll put that down. I'm going to go into my 2-inch brush, load up some more white paint, and I'm just literally just going to pull the bottom, the base of these trees. Each one I'm going to load up each time and just pull the bottom of that just across, and that creates automatic shadow in this snow, which is very simple to do, but it's very effective. And so with these ones, just going to pull this across like so. Across here. Hopefully you can see that. Lovely. So you've got, even though the light's coming that way, you've got a slight reflection of this in the snow. It's looking good, looking good. I'm happy with that. Now, this oval brush we've been using, I'm just going to give it a little clean in the thinners, because we're going to use this one I'll show you how to do it with both brushes, I think. This does a good effect using this brush. So get a bit of tissue and just remove this from the excess. Okay, so I'm going to go into the same mix. So I'm going to pull this down one way, I'm going to turn it over the other way, and just give it a tap. Okay, now these are evergreens, so very lightly here I'm just going to touch like so. So you kind of come down one side, it's a bit like the letter Z. Okay, so you're going to come down, come out one side, come out the other side, back to the middle, and so on, like so. I'm just tapping, and obviously they get bigger as they come down here. Okay, so just going to stop down there. So you can see that. So very small bits at the top. I've left a little gap. There's a little gap there. So I'm going to come on to the next one. Load up. Same thing again. Come back to the side. Come back to the middle. Come down. Come back to the side. And so on. Come down here. You can see that nicely. Again, I might put a little bit more snow on there if I need to in a minute. Now also you can do a very similar effect just with the fan brush, make it nice and sharp, just using the edge, and then you can just touch, come to the side, this side, that to that side, and just keep tapping down, and as you come down, this comes out towards you and you tap harder, and the actual bristles and foliage obviously becomes wider. So load up again. Try not to kill all the background colour. There we go. Down here. You can see, hopefully you can see that. I'm just bending the bristles downwards. Okay, bending the bristles downwards. I'll go back to the other brush. I just did that to show you can use that brush. We'll go back to this brush. Put these bits in here. This is, I think, is a lot quicker. You're getting the same sort of effect. Just literally just pushing down. So, and I'll do another one. Even though we put all that background foliage in, a lot of it has been covered, but it doesn't matter because it's there. We know it's there, and you know it's there. So there we go. So we basically got I've got 5 in there, evergreen trees, and then what I'm going to do now, I'm going to highlight some of those. So I need to clean this brush because I'm going to highlight them with this brush. So clean this off, odorless thinners. Get my beater bucket. Clean it with a cloth. Now, I'm going to thin this down. Now you can slightly thin the colour down for highlights on this with either odourless thinner, a little bit of thinner, but it could become messy. So either liquid clear or some refined linseed oil. So we're going to do these ones here, and again, same colours, literally same colours. Now this has got, look, this is darker, so if we add some yellow it's automatically going to go some green colour. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into refined linseed oil, get a little bit of that on my brush, and then I'm going to go into my colour. So I'm going to go into the yellow colour, and I'm going to pull up a little bit of the Indian yellow. I'm going to give this a tap, okay, because as we know, a thin paint will stick to a thick paint, okay, so that's why I first dipped it in the actual refined linseed oil. Okay, now very carefully I'm just going to very tough on the corner, on the very corner of the brush, I'm just going to very lightly just touch some bits and pieces here, and like I said, it will go a greeny colour, a slight greeny colour, because of the dark that's on there, and so that's really what we're looking for. So I'm only loading the brush once because I want it the lightest at the top and then gradually come down. Okay, I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to load up the same colours, give it a tap in there. Same with this one, very lightly, just a few bits of colour. Now, if you don't get on with this brush using this brush, okay, you can use the fan brush. I'll clean the fan brush, you can see the fan brush. I'm just going to clean most of the colour off of there. And again, I'm going to go into refined linseed oil and into the same colour. And then holding it sideways on, let me just clean that brush. Holding it sideways on, very lightly, just touch, come down, and you can create the same sort of effect as you can with the other brush. Come on here. Like so. So I'm going to use this one again, using the same colour. So I'm just literally bending the bristles just on top of the dark. Now, I'm not going to do so many on these ones because these would be darker. Okay, so just a few bits here and there, and then I'm going to come to these. Again, these have just got a couple of bits of green in. These are just mainly dark. Okay, now I'll just wipe this. Squeeze that. I'm going to use this, go into the same colour, and I'm going to use the fan brush. I'm just going to press up like so around the base of these, and then I'm going to pull out some more snow. So I'm just tapping at the base of these. So you've got a little bit of foliage, and looks like there's bits and pieces of weeds and grass and things coming through there. So now I've done that, I can get some more of our white on this brush here. And again, I can just pull a bit more of this out. A bit more of this white, just pull some of it down. Like so. Okay. Now over this side, I'm going to put a couple more bushes, I think. So I'm going to, I think what I'll do, I'll use this, actually I'll get a 1-inch brush. Let's get a 1-inch brush. Get a 1-inch brush, using the same dark colour. Pull it one way and then give it a tap. Really tap it hard. I'm going to come here, I'm going to tap right up to there. Foliage, like so. Yeah, bring this right down, I think. Right down here. Like so. Just getting, again, just getting dark. As we know, shadow light. Okay, so we've got a bit of a, so look, different planes. So I'll take it right up to there, I think. Yeah. So with that, and then I'm going to use this brush again to do some highlights. So I'm going to go into a bit of white, a bit of this yellow, Indian yellow. Do a few of these little bits here, just a few little spots across there, some more here, and I'm going to vary it around. I know what I'm going to do, I'm going to change, obviously change flavours, change colours as I say, so I'm going to get a little bit of this red here, let's have a bit of that. And add some of those lovely colours in there, like so, like that. I like that colour. Get some more colour, and I'm just like to say, I'm just literally just putting some colour on there, like so. Putting these in, just as a colour, like so. Yeah, I like that. That's nice. That's nice. Yeah. Okay, I'll put a couple of bright ones in here, like so. Another one down there. So with that, I'm going to use my knife. The point, and I'm going to scratch in some of these bits in the middle, like so. Okay, this just adds to the effect. So it just look, again, it just looks like there's a lot more foliage. Okay, and while I've got my 1-inch brush, I'm just going to pull a little bit of this down here. So I've just picked up a little bit of the bush there. I've just brushed this way, so you've got a little bit of shadow of this colour just inside there. So again, it adds to the... Okay guys, what we're going to do, we're going to put a nice tree right in here, and we're going to use the dark mix again. Make sure we've got a lot of Van Dyke brown and the colour we've been using. Backwards and forwards on the fan brush, and bravery test, and I'm going to come down here, I think so. Pull from there, pull right down. Yeah, so That's lovely. So get some more of this brown on there. Just going to go over that. Nice. Obviously you need a branch on there. So I'll take that right off. And then he's going to need a friend, so we'll pull that down there, like so. Like that. Yeah, that's nice. Get a liner brush into the same colour. Obviously you'll need some thinners, about 5 or 6 drops. Spin it around. Okay, and then I'm just going to do a few limbs coming up. Like so. A few little bits coming off here. Okay, make sure it's nice and thin, otherwise it's not going to work. So basically little tiny bits of thin bits coming off of here. Nice small bits here. Keep going into, keep spinning your brush. Like so. Okay, I'm not going to go mad, I'm not going to put too many. Just a few. Like so. Little bits on there, it's lovely. And down the base here, I'm just going to bring this down using this liner brush. That's nice. And using my liner brush, I'm just going to go into a little bit of white. And I'm just going to pull some of this white, just brush some of this white just down this edge here, as if it's catching a little bit of light down this edge here. So literally I'm just running this liner brush down that edge, like so. Hopefully it's picking up on the video there. As I bring it down, I'm turning it, and so it should just pick up here and there, just a couple of highlights, just to make it a little bit more realistic. So I think, guys, we've got a finished picture. Any questions, comment below. I'm just going to add a bit more down here. Just going to bring those down a bit lower. These darker bits here, like so. Yeah, I'm happy. So add a little bit of highlight to that. Just a few down there. Yeah, that's better. There's always something you're not happy with, guys. I am anyway. So I'd like to thank you for watching and hopefully having a go. It's Mark for Paint with Mark, and I'll see you soon, guys.